Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Henrico's Environmental Action Resource Team podcast. I'm Jeff Whitell, your host, and I'm very excited because it's springtime. It's a great time to get out, and I'm just excited because we're talking about things related to the Heart Committee and what the county's doing to get out, get people out in the community and enjoy the outdoors. So it's May, and that means it's Bike Month. And so I am here with two guests to talk about some of the exciting things that are happening this month. First of all, we have Marcy Lynn Tyndall. She is with the Recreation and Parks Department, and she is the Special Events Coordinator. And then we also have Ryan Levering. Ryan is the Capital Projects Manager with the Department of Public Works. Welcome.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hi.
Good to see
Thank you.
Very
Yes.
excited that you guys are here today. So, Bike Month. Ryan, first of all, before we get totally into Bike Month, can you explain a little bit about what the connection is with bicycling and the Heart Committee?
Sure thing. So one of the subcommittees within the Heart Committee is called the Mobility and Active Transportation Subcommittee, and honestly, one of our subcommittee's biggest goals is to basically encourage residents of the county to get out and get from point A to point B using some form of active transportation.
Right.
Whether it's walking, taking the bus, or in this case, we're here to pump up riding our bikes, right? So, yeah, that's right. You got that.
Yeah.
So being Bike Month, it's a great opportunity for the subcommittee to really kind of get out into the community and really illustrate what the county is doing to make it easier to ride your bike, and talk about safe biking tips, all that good stuff. So, really excited that it's May.
Right. And Marcy, I know this is going to sound like kind of a silly question, but what is the connection with Recreation and Parks and Bike Month?
Well, I have a new special event happening this year called Henrico. Henrico. And of course, the parks are a wonderful place to cycle.
Right.
We have trails, whether paved or dirt, and this event, along with the workshops that are leading up to the event, will help to promote those ways of experiencing our parks.
Awesome. So, National Bike Month. What is the deal with that, Ryan? Why are we celebrating it? What are some of the things about it on the national scale, maybe?
So I think on the national scale and now, one of the exciting things at the local level is that it's an opportunity for localities to kind of illustrate how they get behind folks to and encourage them to use to ride bikes just in general,
Right.
whether it be for transportation, for recreation, and whether it's through the form of like a formal proclamation and saying what localities are doing to provide better bike infrastructure, to make riding your bike a more pleasurable experience, things like that. It's a good opportunity for localities to be able to highlight those things, and I think. From a community level, it kind of comes to, it's all kind of built around the events like Marcy was talking about, kind of having these set dates on the calendar where, folks who are, like the casual bike riders to families to your, I'm going out and logging 100 miles, a day, training for a triathlon or something. It's a place where it's a month where all of these folks can kind of get together and share experiences and talk about what may make their experiences better, and kind of, again, work to kind of, build up a community of bicyclists.
Right. Marcy, I understand you're a bit of a bicycling enthusiast.
That is correct.
So you're not just a person that just kind of gets on there like every couple of months and goes, I'll try it, and then it's like, it's not for me.
It comes in waves.
Yeah.
It depends on event season.
Right. So what are some of the benefits to cycling? And I want to, if I could put a little bit of prompting, environmental and physical fitness.
Certainly. Well, foremost to me, I think the greatest benefit of cycling is community. Actually, the cycling community here in RVA is why I moved to this region.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
I traveled up and down the East Coast looking for a new place to move to, volunteering at a bunch of bike events, and that was really driven by these different cycling communities, these pockets of of excellent trail systems, different kinds of riders, and really Richmond was the top for me. And being able to work for a local government to help to promote that and bring community together and infuse cycling in that way is just, a dream come true. Regarding environmentally, bikes don't produce any carbon.
Right.
They're probably carbon produced in making a bicycle.
Right.
But when you're riding a bicycle to get from point A to point B, your impact is very much less than using a car.
Right.
And then physical fitness.
Yep.
Getting that heart pumping.
Yep.
You're growing those glutes.
Yep.
Softening those joints.
There you go. To piggyback off of what Marcy said, there's kind of that stat that is always thrown around, and I think it rings true in that, a 3-mile bike or ride by car, which is, I guess, the average car trip that most of us take when you live in a suburban area like Henrico County. A 3-mile drive is a 15 to 20 minute bike ride.
Right.
It's recommended you get 20 to 30 minutes of physical activity every day. So replacing one of those car trips with a bike trip, not only do you take carbon out of the atmosphere because you're choosing to not drive your fossil fuel driven vehicle, you're choosing to ride your bike and also get the physical benefits of that as well. So, and it's really not taking too much additional time out of your day. So.
And one of the things too, I think, when it comes to learning new things or perhaps changing your way of life is, I can't consider going to work, or I can't consider going to the store on a bike because it's just too inconvenient, But y'all tell me a little bit about the fact that the county is changing that. We're adding more bike lanes, we're adding more trails. And we're also adding some new facilities at some of the government locations. What do you think?
So I'll take this.
You work for DPW.
Yes. Yep. So from a public works standpoint, I think we've really placed an emphasis on all of our transportation projects having some form of a multimodal aspect to them. So whether we are taking an existing roadway and improving it, generally that means we are adding some form of bike or pedestrian level accommodation. So whether it's anything from a sidewalk to a bike lane or a trail, pedestrian signals, bicycle signals at intersections, anything to make the experience safer, right, and more accessible for everybody. Those are the types of projects that we've got going on across the county. And I guess from a heart perspective, one of the things that it has been really exciting is we've been working on a project that kind of is looking to just remove barriers from for people who may choose to ride their bike to a county facility, and that barrier that we kind of recognize as an easy win, problem to fix is really just to add bicycle parking facilities, end of trip facilities at county buildings. So what that involves is we've added new bike racks to both the west and eastern government centers, a couple of the parks to start. We've added some bicycle repair stations at different locations around the county, because for folks who, I think the biggest thing is that if you drive your car to the government center, you have a parking place designated to you in the parking deck or in a parking lot. But if you ride your bike, you want to make sure that you have a safe place to leave your bike while you do your business at the county. So that was kind of one project that the Heart Committee took on early on in the process, and we've recently installed our first round of bike racks, which is exciting. So again,
they're so cute.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you've seen them, Marcy.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen them around.
What do you think?
Oh, well, they're cute. I saw one recently on the, I guess the only completed section of the fall line in Henrico, behind Sportsbacker's new location. So that was nice to see that right there. Yeah.
I just think, and you know what? The first time I saw one of those, I was really blown away because they're works of art.
They really are.
I think one of the challenges that we're having right now is to get people to understand that they're bike racks. They look so cool. So I've been trying to bike to work. So I've been intentionally parking out in front of the building so people could say, "Oh, that's not just a sculpture. It's a working sculpture."
I do know people who are getting it the first time that they seen one. One of my colleagues, I think she reached out to you saying, "I just saw this bike rack, and it's such a nice looking bike rack." But I think it was such a good perspective to not just put up a bike rack to be a bike rack, and but you not only focus on functionality but also form,
right?
Which we do think about with our parks. Not only accessibility and how the park is used, but really making sure that it's presented well, and that you can kind of create those experiences.
Right. And one of the things, Marcy, I wanted to ask you about is that I think one of the big missions that Rec and Parks has is to provide opportunities for as many people as possible, and that also is involving age groups. So cycling for everybody.
It really is.
Yeah,
definitely. Even locally, there are kids' bikes manufacturers, and we also have some amazing fabricators locally. Outside of our jurisdiction in Williamsburg, there is a group specifically for providing cycling opportunities for those who are of age, that are older, which I think that's okay to say. They're older.
Right.
And getting them out on the trail, whether that's helping them to ride a bicycle or like putting them in a carriage and riding on the Virginia Capitol Trail.
Yep.
So it really does run the gambit. And I know people who got older and were predominantly runners and were kind of lost as to what they can do physically and still get outside, and they turned to bikes, and that opened up a whole new world to them.
Right.
And even people I know who, I had a friend who got diagnosed with MS. And she was a big cyclist, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't ever ride again." And then e-bikes came around, and she's able to mountain bike again, even with this condition.
That's amazing.
So bikes and the bike industry really do a fantastic job of meeting everybody.
Right. Speaking of the Virginia Capitol Trail, this is a segue. Ryan, one of the things, and part of the reason why we're here is not only to promote Bike Month, but to also share some of the exciting events that are going to be coming up that Hart, Rec and Parks are all going to be involved with. And the first one that's going to be coming up, and tell me a little bit about share what's happening on Saturday, the 10th of May.
Saturday, May 10th, Hart is joining the Virginia Capitol Trail Foundation in their annual Cap to Cap event, which is, I guess, it's one of their biggest events that they host every year. And I guess participants in the Cap to Cap event itself can kind of choose their own adventure as far as how far of a race they would like to ride.
Right.
And that includes everywhere from a family fun ride up to, I think, 100-miler, basically the entire length of the trail and back.
Wow.
But at Dory Park on Saturday, there's a family fun zone from 11 to 4:30.
Right.
And the Hart Committee will be set up in the family and the party zone. We'll have all the information about kind of what the subcommittee is, or what the committee is working on and has accomplished over the last year or two, and what we're looking forward to. And then we'll also have our kind of our own offshoot event where anyway, you don't even need to be a participant in the Cap to Cap races. Can kind of come up to the exhibit and join us in a somewhat of a photo scavenger hunt on your bike. And really all what that will entail is just getting folks out kind of around Dory Park and kind of around the kind of entrance, the kind of first part of the Capitol Trail. Take a couple of pictures of different things on your bike, and you'll be entered to win a couple of really cool prizes.
Wow.
And I've heard that Stuart the Turtle will be there as well, so that's a really exciting draw.
Yeah, I understand that Stuart is considering getting into biking as well.
Yeah, we would love to see him out there.
That's really, really cool. And Marcy, continuing on that theme, you mentioned something before that I've not heard this word before, and that you mentioned a little bit about Henrico.
Henrico.
So
Yes.
when you told me a little bit about it in a meeting one time, and I was like, wow, there's a lot happening with that. Tell me a little bit. Well, tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, there is a lot going on.
Soon, too.
Soon, yes. So, leading up to the main event, which is happening in September, there are Henrico safety workshops.
Okay.
The first one is in a week,
Right.
on the 14th in Libby Mill.
Yep.
So Hart and Parks will be set up on the pier at Libby Mill, which is
Okay.
like in front of the water feature behind the library.
Right.
And we'll be there from 5 to 7. Anyone can come up to us and learn about what's going on in that area, specifically about like bike lane projects, pedestrian improvement projects, what Parks has going on, providing information about the bigger event in September. And then I also have, I have some props. She's got props.
Nice. She came prepared.
That's right.
There'll be a safety pizza craft.
Interesting.
If you've ever seen these before, so you hang them off the back of your bike seat off the saddle rails, and it's a little reflective. So
wow.
that's a fun craft for anybody, really.
Okay.
And then we did get some bike lights with the Rec and Parks logo to hand out.
Yay.
Cool.
And then we will also have a safety pledge, which PR did a fantastic job creating a video for, and that'll include a QR code that people can scan with their phones and then sign the safety pledge.
Wow.
And whenever you do, you get a reflective Henrico sticker.
Yay.
Nice.
Awesome.
So there you go.
Wow, right, thank you.
And it's small enough to be able to fit on a
Yeah.
helmet or really anywhere on your bike.
I'll tell you that I will pledge to take the pledge
Yay! Thank you.
before I actually have awarded the sticker. But thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I think I would recommend that people come out to some of these events, because one of the things about trying something new, there's always a certain amount of I don't know if anxiety is the right word. but
Trepidation.
certain-
Yeah.
apprehension about how can I get into this? I need to get into this all the way or not at all. And I think that's what these events are all about, right?
Yeah. So I'm really looking to draw all ages.
Yep.
We'll have the bike police in the Libby Mill Library parking lot doing a bike rodeo. You know, I have this kids craft, and then we can talk to the adults, whether they're into cycling or not, to
Right.
learn about the upcoming projects, infrastructure projects, and how to use them, how to go about them, what's it going to look like when there are cyclists using those new bike lanes or pedestrians using those new sidewalks.
Right.
And Ryan will be able to talk specifically about those details to the public.
Right, right. And Ryan, I understand too that that we have a GIS map now that's out that's showing biking locations and bike routes.
Yes, yeah. So that's kind of hot off the press.
Yeah.
So we've got a new map, a new GIS map that anyone can go see where our existing bicycle facilities are located. So that if you'd like to find a route that is, you know, I guess we call them all ages and abilities type of facilities. So
Right.
Your trails, your buffered bike lanes. That map will show where those locations are. And what I like to kind of see is another map that has been out there for a while is the county's bike plan,
Right.
which shows future facilities, right? And a lot of those facilities that are shown on that map are already funded projects that are either, you know, either underway or are you know, in the beginning stages of planning or even close to construction. So you can kind of see where we are now compared to what we're aiming for, what we're striving for in the
Right.
future. And part of the exciting piece of, or I guess the component of the Henrico safety workshop on Wednesday is that we'll actually get to go out and show the public kind of how we are looking to build those connections from what is out here now and what will be there in the next year or two.
Right.
And then you'll start to kind of really piece together a true cycling network throughout the county, which I think is really, really exciting.
Wow, that's great. So what else? What else? What else?
What else? It's not enough.
We carried enough, I think. That's right.
So that bike ride that Ryan was talking about rolls at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And Blue Ridge Cyclery, that is in Libby Mill, has been a fantastic partner in helping us put together that bike ride.
Right.
But there will be stops, like Ryan said, where you'll get to talk about where you're riding, what's coming up. We'll even get on the fall line and what may in the future be the fall line route through Bryant Park.
Right.
So we'll be making the loop and coming back to Libby Mill.
Well, that's amazing. Well, that's one of the things I really like about the whole community is that there's collaborative projects going on all the time, and I think that's what's really cool about the Heart Committee, working with Rebecca and Parks, working with DPW, just getting it all mixed in, and it all comes out to be a really good. To use an example, maybe even a really good pizza.
Yeah, it's a great looking pizza.
All the ingredients. Yeah, you got a triangle on there.
Awesome. Well, just to remind everybody that this is a Heart podcast, and that if you want more information about our group, you can go to our website, which is henrico.gov/heart. And we have a lot of information on there on the things that we're doing. There's more information on there about Bike Month and some of the events that are coming up. And also just to remind people that may not be able to see this podcast, that we have our friend here, Stuart the Turtle. He's on the table here. And Stuart reminds us to be good stewards with the environment and also to reduce, reuse, recycle, and choose to reuse. So thank you so much, y'all, for coming out on the podcast today.
Yeah, sure thing.
I can't wait to get out and just get on my bike again. So y'all have a great day, and thanks again, y'all. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.